Good evening. Welcome back to Near Post Flick On. Happy New Year to one and all. I hope you've all had a great Christmas and a fantastic New Year. Right, it's only day two, and we've already had our first managerial casualty. And if you ask me, I never saw this coming. It's come as an absolute shocker. I don't know how you feel, especially if you're a Chelsea fan or a Chelsea supporter. I'm sure that might have come as a major shock to you, or you may agree with the sacking. So who are we talking about? We are talking about Enzo Maresca, who was sacked or let go by Chelsea after 2 years at the club. It's a surprising one because I say surprising one because he's only been there for a couple of years and he's already delivered silverware. As a top four club or top four, top three club, it's always important that managers deliver silverware, and he's done that. He's won the Conference League, UEFA Conference League, and he's also won the Club World Cup as well. So these are two major honours, but unfortunately, Chelsea have let him go, and as I say, it does come as a bit of a surprise, as a bit of a shock. But usually, when clubs or chairmen, when they sack managers like this out of the blue, it's usually down to the fact that they've already got somebody else in mind or they want to go in a different direction. So, the name that people are bringing up to the table, or the front runner, if you like, is a guy called Liam Rosenior. Now, he's an English manager and he's young. He's a young manager. He's only 41 years old. I think he's currently managing at Strasbourg, and I think he previously managed Hull City as well. So he's managed Hull City, managing Strasbourg currently, and he's also managed Derby County as interim manager. Now, for me, if you look at some of the managers that Chelsea, and they've had some high-profile managers, if you look at some of the managers that they had in the past, this is an interesting one. If they do go for him, if the rumours are true, and he is the front runner, Liam Rosenior. If I'm pronouncing the name wrong, listen, I apologise, no offence. But yeah, if he is the front runner, it's an interesting one. As I say, he's not a manager of great experience. I mean, he's only managed 3 clubs within the last, couple of years. So he's new to the job and he's only 41. And sometimes it may be a bit of a gamble to kind of give a young manager that much of a high-profile position. But sometimes it does work. It does work. If you throw them in the deep end, they may turn it around. But as I say, I just feel like it's a bit of a surprise. I'm not quite sure with this one. I feel, Maresca's got a fairly young squad, and I think it will take time for those players to start gelling. And what you have to remember as well is that they have enjoyed some level of success. They have enjoyed some level of success in winning those 2 trophies. Now, the Chelsea board may not feel that these trophies are high-profile trophies, if you like. They may feel like they're, subpar trophies, the Conference League and the Club World Cup. They may feel it's not prestige enough, and they may have their own expectations. But listen, it's going to take an army to beat Arsenal this year, because Arsenal have been playing phenomenal. So if they're expecting the current Chelsea squad to put up a level of competition against this current Arsenal side, then you have a laugh. It's not going to happen. They're not experienced enough, the players that they got at the moment. It's a fairly young squad, so it's important to give the manager some time to build and nurture that squad, because that's what Arteta's done at Arsenal. He's been with those players for a few years now. So now they're reaping rewards. That's why Arsenal are just fantastic in everything that they do at the moment. But whether or not they win it is yet to be seen, because Manchester City are still in the mix as well. But as far as Chelsea are concerned, of course, Chelsea still view themselves as a top 2, top 3 Premiership club. And, you have to see yourself as the best. And I'm sure the owners at Chelsea and their boards, I'm sure they want the best for the club. But sometimes you need some stability. And getting rid of your manager just after 2 years, the geezer's won you 2 trophies already. Getting rid of him at this point in time, in this part of the season, is just pointless. Doesn't make any sense. I don't think this young man, Liam Rosenior, is going to come in and, he's going to turn it around overnight. And then Chelsea are going to be crowned champions come May 2026. I don't think that's going to happen. If anything, I think they should have just left Maresca in there. Should have left him in there. Let him do his job until the end of the season. See how it goes. Let him do his job. Maybe buy 1 or 2 players in the January window to strengthen up a little bit, and then see how you go from there. But to sack the manager, it could just be downhill for Chelsea. But as I say, usually when they make these types of decisions, sometimes it's calculated. There's some thought that's gone into it, so they may already have somebody in mind. And as I say, the name that's coming up is Liam Rosenior. But then you have to go back to the Frank Saga tenure as well. You've got to look back at when Chelsea made Frank Lampard manager. Again, they didn't give him any chance, did he? He came as a young, I don't want to say unqualified, but a manager that didn't have that experience. He didn't have the experience to be able to manage a top, higher-profile club like Chelsea. And they gave him the job, and he didn't last long. And that could be the same thing for this Liam Rosenior. But to be fair, what other manager is available at this point in time? And you want a good quality manager as well. But I could be wrong. This geezer could come in, and he could do a job. It could do a job. We've seen it happen many times over. He could do a job. It could be the ingredient or the recipe that Chelsea need at this point in time. But I just felt that, someone of Maresca's caliber deserved a little better than the way Chelsea handled him, to be honest. As I say, the man's won you 2 trophies already, albeit not the Premier League. Yes, the Premier League is a very, very difficult title to win. You don't win the Premier League just by winning a cup final. You've got to win as many games as you can out of 38 games in a season. So there's got to be a high level of consistency. And if that consistency is missing, you're not going to be rewarded come the end of the season. But I say, it's a bit of a strange one. I'm not sure how Chelsea supporters feel. I know some of the Chelsea players, they've come out and they basically said, they're all upset. And you can understand why they're upset, because they're building something. As I say, Chelsea have a very young squad, and those players are getting better and better and better and buying in. Most importantly, they are buying in into the manager's philosophy and the manager's ways of playing football. But here comes the Chelsea owners to come, to just literally just ruffle feathers and just destroy something that could have been great for Chelsea. Maybe not in the next year, but maybe 2 years from now. They could have been reaping the rewards of that assembled squad. But we'll never know now, because somebody else is going to come in and they may have a different philosophy. They may have different ideas. They may have different ways of playing football. And furthermore, their interactions with the players may be different. They may not want the same players that are there at the moment. They may want to get rid of a Cole Palmer or whoever else is at Chelsea at the moment. So it kind of just ruffles things a little bit for Chelsea. And if you are trying to compete for the top competition, you need some stability. But Chelsea just keep on changing managers all the time. They just keep on changing managers. It kind of makes you wish you had Abramovich back in the ranking, back at the helm and spending those millions and millions of pounds. But that ain't going to happen. It's not going to happen. So unfortunately, Chelsea, your manager has been sacked, but all is not lost. I'm sure they'll bring in a good manager to kind of take the club forward. But we'll wait and see. We'll see what happens. I personally wouldn't hold my breath, but we'll wait and see. So please like, share, and subscribe. And Happy New Year once again. Thank you.